Hi, I'm Jeanette Roche. This is Bridge City News. Here are some of the top stories we have lined up for you. Prime Minister Mark Carney shuffles his cabinet with a new face to replace Steven Guilbeault. Plus, Dave Naylor from Western Standard provides perspective on all the separatist talk at the UCP AGM and what it means. And we visit a Christmas tree lot to find out why a real tree is still a must-have for so many Canadians.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News with Jeanette Roche.
Thanks so much for joining us. Last week's Memorandum of Understanding on Energy between Alberta and Ottawa created a ripple effect in Ottawa. Former Environment Minister Steven Guilbeault resigned in protest. He was serving as Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture and Quebec Lieutenant under Prime Minister Mark Carney. Today, Mark Miller was sworn in as Canada's new Culture and Identity Minister. He officially joined Carney's cabinet in a ceremony this afternoon at Rideau Hall. Miller last served as Minister of Immigration under Justin Trudeau. Joel Lightbound, who is Minister of Government Transformation, Public Works and Procurement, will add Guilbeault's role as Quebec Lieutenant to his portfolio, while Environment and Climate Change Minister Julie DeBruzen will inherit the nature file. 4 days in, and a residential apartment fire in Toronto is still burning slowly. The city's fire chief says the blaze is believed to be burning through insulation trapped in the walls between two Thorncliffe Park high-rise towers, and crews are working to put it out.
This is the material, which is combustible particle board that was placed between an expansion joint. That is causing us the problem. And access to getting to this is next to impossible for our crews, and we have been trying everything. We also today have a team of multidisciplinary engineers from Toronto Fire Service, Toronto Building, and the building's owners all working together to try to come up with other ideas on how we can, as fast as possible, quickly extinguish this fire. But this is the problem that we are talking about. And if you can imagine a cigar burning slowly up and up without visible flames, this is what my staff have been dealing with since Thursday afternoon at 1:30, with no way to access it except very manual labor ways and very laborious ways.
Hundreds of people are still displaced after nearly 400 units had to be evacuated last week when the fire broke out and carbon monoxide levels spiked. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause of the blaze. Members of Alberta's United Conservative Party gathered in Edmonton over the weekend for their annual general meeting, and it was at times a feisty affair. If Premier Danielle Smith was expecting a warm, friendly gathering after signing the Memorandum of Understanding with the Prime Minister, she was in for a surprise. Here is Calgary's lawyer Jeffrey Rath with the separatist-minded Alberta Prosperity Project firing up the crowd.
After that so-called MOU was signed yesterday, the ink wasn't dry on the paper, and Mark Carney went out and gleefully announced a 600% increase to the industrial carbon tax in Alberta. How many of all of us favor a free and independent Alberta?
Dave Naylor of the Western Standard is one of our regular contributors here on Bridge City News. He was at the AGM and joins us. Dave, you say that the strong response from the separatists was because they were there to get something done.
They wanted to take over the UCP board. So they had candidates, a slate of candidates running. They were not successful. They only elected 3 of the 9. But it was, they've got some momentum coming out of this convention, I think. And it's going to be interesting how Danielle Smith tries to keep the caucus together, because it's, there's estimates that up to 70-75% of her caucus wants independence.
I see. So, Dave, if the Premier doesn't get traction on this memorandum of understanding with Ottawa, would that just add fuel for the separatist fire?
Oh, absolutely, it does. And that's the next big step that Smith has to get done, and get done very quickly. They need a proponent to come forward and say that, hey, we'll take a run at doing this. Her press conference on Saturday, she mentioned Enbridge, which would be the obvious candidate to come and take it on board. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if she's already had conversations with people in the private sector. And I would expect probably an announcement within 2 to 3 weeks of a company that's come forward and said, we'll take on the job.
Okay, thanks so much, Dave. Dave Naylor is one of our regular contributors here on Bridge City News. More than 16,000 healthcare workers, including nursing care members of the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees, officially ratified a 4-year collective agreement with Alberta Health Services this weekend. This comes after 71% of union members participated in a vote to approve a last-minute offer from AHS. 63.3% voted yes to amend it, averting a strike due to start the morning of the 22nd of November. As part of the deal, over 4 years, licensed practical nurses will get a total wage increase of over 23%. Healthcare aides get a 17% bump, and funding will increase to the Rural Capacity Investment Fund, which aims to recruit and retain staff in hard-to-recruit areas of the province. AUPE President Sandra Azakar claims the union's members have officially raised the bar for collective agreements in the province. The agreement is retroactive to April 1st, 2024, and will expire March 31st of 2028. Alberta's UCP government has announced the new Police Review Commission is fully operational. This new commission replaces the current patchwork of police investigating police, with one independent body responsible for receiving complaints, conducting investigations, and overseeing disciplinary hearings.
The commission will handle complaints in 3 main categories. Level 1 complaints are cases involving death or serious injury or serious and sensitive allegations. Level 2 will be complaints involving allegations of criminal or other statutory offences. And Level 3 complaints are non-criminal misconduct involving officers employed by municipal and First Nations police services, and complaints outside these categories will be directed to the appropriate agencies, ensuring every concern finds the right home for review.
I think it is extremely important when we look at the landscape of delivery of public safety, we also look at the landscape of confidence we are building in our community. I think the communities that we represent and the voices that we hear all need to have a repository so we can not only continue building the confidence, but maintain the confidence of our service and of the public that we serve. It has been my great honor as a First Nation and Indigenous person to be included in the conversation so we can also accurately represent those voices and hear those voices and the concerns that are constantly challenging us within First Nations and Indigenous communities, both urban and on reserve.
PRC investigations must be completed in 180 days. If more time is needed, the Chief Executive Officer must publicly report delays and provide justification. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team has cleared Medicine Hat police officers of any wrongdoing in connection with a July 2024 shooting incident. On July 27th of that year, police responded to multiple 911 calls of a man firing a gun in an apartment building on Southwest Hill. Police were aware the suspect had previously been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Officers went into the building and negotiated with the suspect, but eventually gunfire was exchanged. 2 officers were injured, as was the suspect. After using tear gas, the suspect was removed from the suite and transported to the hospital with gunshot wounds. The investigation concluded that if it were not for proper tactics and some luck, the responding officers could have been seriously injured or killed by the man. The report states the officer who shot the man acted properly in the execution of his duties. The force used was proportionate, necessary, and reasonable. In a separate story, Medicine Hat police have charged a 19-year-old man with multiple offenses, including assault with a weapon following a dispute last Thursday evening at a residence in the 600 block of 8th Street Southwest. Police were told a physical altercation involving a weapon was occurring inside the home. Despite efforts to communicate with the suspect, he refused to cooperate. Members of the tactical and negotiator team eventually moved in and took the suspect into custody. New injuries were reported by either the victim or witnesses at the scene. 19-year-old Caden Smith of Medicine Hat is facing a long list of charges, including possession of a weapon, dangerous to the public, resisting arrest, and 5 counts of disobeying a court order. He has been remanded into custody pending a court date. Lethbridge Sport Council has received a $5,000 spotlight grant from Canadian Women in Sport to help get girls involved in sports and keep them participating. A total of 55 organizations across the country will receive $425,000 in funding to support initiatives that remove barriers and expand opportunities for girls and women in sport.
We applied for 2 different projects. One is a continuing project with Rec Excellence to help pay for the registration for girls and women. The second one is a sport bank, and it will provide gently used sport equipment for youth, and we're looking to do it for adults as well. Anyone who qualifies for fee assistance program grants could qualify to then receive free sport equipment with $5,000. So about 25% goes to the women and girls only swim, and 75% towards purchasing equipment for girls. The women and girls only swim, it's all ages. Some go there just to hang out in the pool. Others are there for the physical exercise.
Susan Iman, Executive Director of Lethbridge Sport Council, says the Spotlight Grant is funded by the Government of Canada through the Community Sport for All initiative. The City of Lethbridge is letting the public know its intentions of constructing a new traffic circle near the Polytechnic that will impact traffic near College Drive. The city intends to commence construction on the traffic circle at the intersection of College Drive South and 28th Avenue to Tudor Boulevard South. Construction is planned for the summer of 2026 when classes at Lethbridge Polytechnic are out of session. The city says the new installation is meant to improve east-west traffic flow during peak times, while maintaining current conditions for north-south travel. Residents and business owners are invited to attend an informational open house at College Drive Community Church this Thursday at 6:30 p.m., where the design will be revealed. It is December, which for a lot of people means it's time to get a Christmas tree. Tree lots are popping up in cities across the country. The Canadian press went out to talk to some folks in Caledon, Ontario about this yearly ritual and why it's so special.
We've taken our kids here since they were really little, and so it's just a special place because you see families all around picking up trees. And every year I ask myself, is it time for a fake tree? And then I always say no because of this ritual, because of how excited they get to come here. And so I don't know if we're any time soon going to be getting a fake tree.
We almost always get a Fraser fir, which is kind of what they specialize in here. And so this is kind of the size category. And so this was the tree that fell as we were walking towards it. And we first said, yeah, we're going to get that tree. It looked great. And the second one is over here. This one's a little thinner, a little less dense. And ultimately, we've decided on that one.
We got here about 5 minutes ago, and we're picking out our Christmas tree. We've come to Downey's for, I don't know, the last 10 years, maybe 12 years now. And we've always got our Christmas trees from here, and we found our perfect tree pretty much right away. It called us. We went on with a Fraser fir that's between 7 and 8 feet tall. It's typically what we've done. It fits just perfect in our house, and we'll decorate it probably in a day or two. This is going to be a special Christmas. We have our newest addition here and our son, so it's our first year of having our whole family together, our complete family. And I think almost every year it's been snowing when we've come, so it's kind of part of the tradition, I think.
I would say support local. That's the best. Because you're not sure if you're getting trees from the U.S. We want to buy Canadian, right? So let's support our environment, our people here.
Oh, it's great to see the customers come out, right? The snow's kind of, it's nice to see, it's pretty, but yeah, I mean, I might have deterred a few people from coming out, but I think a lot of people still came out to get a tree, to see Santa Claus, to pick up some baked goods, that kind of stuff.
Oh, Merry Christmas. God bless you guys. Have a great holiday season.
Aw, well, the same to you too, Santa. And while we're in the Christmas spirit, Tuesday, December 2nd, is Giving Tuesday. The initiative, which began in 2012, aims to spread messages of kindness and generosity. People around the world are encouraged to volunteer with a local nonprofit, donate, or just help their neighbor. Here on Miracle Channel, we're asking for your help. Michaela Fontaine-Stannard has the details.
Giving Tuesday, December 2nd, we want to encourage you to help us raise our goal of $20,000 because we want to translate Devoted into Ukrainian. Right now, we translate in 15 other languages, and that will help continue doing that work as well. But we want to focus on blessing the people of Ukraine and putting this devotional in their language so that they can be blessed by God's word, his good news. So here's my challenge for you. Would 365 of you just commit to donating $55? And that would help us to translate Devoted into Ukrainian. We have seen so many beautiful Ukrainians come to Canada and become citizens of this incredible nation. And we want to bless them with a Devoted in their language so that they can be encouraged by God's good news every day.
And while we're talking about giving, a simple act of kindness can help women in need over the holiday season. The 2025 Shoebox Holiday Drive is running from November 12th to December the 13th, inviting the community to decorate a shoebox and fill it with gifts and essential items valued at around $50, along with a heartfelt message of support. These thoughtful packages are then distributed to women's shelters and community agencies supporting women experiencing homelessness across Canada.
Women on the street aren't seen. Homeless women aren't seen. Domestic violence women, they suffer, and we tend to not meet them eye to eye. And this box supplies like essentials that we as women would take for granted, like deodorant and shampoo and a toothbrush that's theirs, and same as, toothpaste and makeup. And this box just says we care as a community. So we had 110 boxes last year, and everything that comes in stays in Lethbridge. It doesn't go outside of Lethbridge. And then you drop them off at Decor Out the Door or in Lethbridge, Chrysler, Dodge, Gary Moe in the north side.
The Shoebox Holiday Drive initiative has been running in Canada since 2010 and came to Lethbridge in 2021. Well, not the best news to receive at Christmas time, but Algoma still plans to lay off 1,050 workers over the coming months. The union representing some of the employees say the Sault Ste. Marie-based company issued layoff notices today. The job cuts come as Algoma has accelerated plans to shut down its blast furnace and cook oven operations as it transitions to more efficient electricity-based steel production. It also reported almost $500 million in losses last quarter as steep U.S. tariffs on steel effectively shut it out of the market. Well, it's Cyber Monday. Deals promoted as some of the best of the holiday season are expected to keep many people across the United States and Canada glued to their computers and phones. As the Post-American Thanksgiving shopping marathon wraps up, Adobe Analytics estimates that American shoppers will spend more than $14 billion U.S. online today, or 6.3% more than in 2024. In Canada, several studies say many Canadians plan to support homegrown companies when picking up gifts for the holidays. Have you ever wondered how Amazon manages to deliver billions of packages a day across the globe? They're almost like Santa Claus themselves in that regard. Well, one Amazon center in the UK is already gearing up for the Christmas season with a highly synchronized operation of moving robot conveyor belts and storage towers.
On this floor, we've got two main processes. So one is to stow items that are just been received into the warehouse. So we receive them on the ground floor downstairs. where the items are unloaded from a truck. They're put into one of these many black totes, moved around the building to a stow station, and very simply, in a normal warehouse environment, you have to walk to a shelf. And this does the reverse. The shelf comes to you. So it makes it much quicker, much easier. This is a very highly automated, robotic warehouse. We process millions of orders a week through this particular building alone, which is one of over 30 within our UK network. Each of the orders that gets assigned to this building gets picked, packed and shipped in less than 2 hours.
I think robotics is here to help us, and it's a tool to aid us. The customer demand is forever increasing, and we're getting the parcels out the door faster than ever, and that's what the robotics are here to help us with.
Only in the last few years have we really passed this inflection point where the automated warehouses are meaningfully more efficient than the human warehouses. And so today, the Amazon fulfillment centers that are automated are amongst the most efficient fulfillment centers in the world. Amazon has invented a lot of its own technology to do that, and that has been a bit of a competitive moat for Amazon. But there are a lot of smart entrepreneurs that have developed alternative systems that other retailers are using.
Well, that is wild and a little creepy. Perhaps any technology, though, to help get those Christmas gifts out on time is a good thing. Now, here's a look at today's markets.
The TSX was down 281 to 31,101. The Dow was down 427 to 47,289. The S&P 500 was down 36 to 6,812. And the Nasdaq was down 89 to 23,275. West Texas Intermediate oil was up 96 cents to 59.51 US per barrel. Natural gas was up 12 cents to 4.89 US. Gold was up 13.15 to 42.30.96 US an ounce, and silver was up 1.57 to 57.98 US an ounce. Feed wheat is at $7.51 per bushel. Barley is at $5.88. Canola is at $14.74, and corn is at $7.42 per bushel. Live cattle were down 137 to 214.20. Feeder cattle January contract was down 290 to 321.07, and lean hogs were down 37 cents to 80.22. The Canadian dollar was down slightly over the past 24 hours and currently sits at 71.40 US.
Recapping one of our top stories, last week's departure of Steven Guilbeault from cabinet has forced Prime Minister Mark Carney to shuffle the deck. The former environment minister, who was most recently the culture and identity minister, resigned after Carney signed a memorandum of understanding with Alberta. Mark Miller was sworn in Monday to replace Guilbeault. He last served as immigration minister under Justin Trudeau. As the winter season looms with colder temperatures and snow, runny noses, coughs, and sore throats always seem to follow suit. Josie Bosgra, a natural nutrition clinical practitioner, gives us some health tips to help mitigate symptoms and potentially stop them before they turn into something more serious. That is coming up next. Also, when you see news happening in your community, be sure to send us an email at info@bridgecitynews.ca. You can also visit our website or YouTube channel anytime to check out more of our stories and interviews.